Hey David, this is Tim Stern Snyder working on weekly number 5 video. So this week in physics, I started out by focusing specifically on project number 2. I met with John Fomangvosa, I think is how you say his last name, his name is John. And we took a couple trips to Home Depot where we bought wood and other supplies that we needed for our microscope, as you'll see in my project. These are the schematics I drew up for our microscope that we built. Number 2 on my Google site as well as our group Glog. And we built that microscope together. We spent a couple days building it, getting all the materials for it, and we made sure to get at least a 6x zoom on it, which was important to us. After finishing the videos, because we videotaped or we took pictures to document us building the actual microscope, and then we also took a video of me endorsing it and showing everybody how it's actually used, and actually we got a video shot of it focusing on a leaf as well. We did that, and we also, after we were done making the videos and whatnot, I spent a lot of time on the group PowerPoint doing my part of the presentation, which involves spherical aberrations, the different types, and explaining that, as well as the difference between real and virtual images. And so I focused a lot of time on that PowerPoint, as well as set up and created my point and videos on the Glog, the group Glog, for that project. After I finished the project, I started on coursework for week 5. I started on the discussion board topics and the debatable topics, which I focused on the Mayan calendar this week, because I knew a little bit about that, but I did the necessary research involved in that. I took screenshots of the geometric optics graphical and mathematical screencasts that you posted, which I'm showing here. I also took screenshots of the simulations. This is a Color and Vision 1 and 2 that I did. And this starts molecules and light. This is number 1. And this is number 2, which I used infrared on. And then finally the geometric optics. This is number 1. And this is number 2 screenshots I took. So this week I learned a lot from Project 2 on how the lenses work together in a microscope to focus the view on the specific object that you have on the stage and on the slide, and also learned why the light affects the image outcome through the lenses so much. I didn't know that, and so that helped me understand the microscopes, which I've used a lot in school and at home. And I also learned a lot about the basis behind the Mayan calendar predictions and so on, because I didn't know much about that other than the 2012 movie and, random stuff like that that's not really scientifically based. So I learned a lot about that before I got involved in the debate and took my stance in that. And this week definitely led me into viewpoints I didn't have on subjects, both the controversial and the scientific basis. So this week I did have a lot of questions on the building and understanding how my microscope is actually going to work. I didn't think that was actually possible to build one for under, $20. But I've consistently used microscopes in my classes involving anatomy, physiology, and biological science studies. And but after building and reading the group PowerPoint and other people's viewpoints on how to build a microscope, and especially doing my research on the spherical aberrations and the different types of imaging available through telescopes and microscopes, it did help me understand what I was building and why it was working the way it was. So a lot of my questions I had on that were answered specifically by doing the research and actually doing the project itself, and some of the screencasts and reading you had us do this week. Next week I'm going to start by reviewing Project 3 and starting earlier on it, and I want to know what's required of each of us this time so we can set up specifically what we're supposed to do a little bit earlier in the project. Also probably going to focus on setting up the last group Glog for this project and the Google PowerPoint for the group, and emailing that to everybody, so that we all know what to work on for the portions of the next project, as everyone did pretty well in this project. I will also begin by reviewing the information I'll need to take a stance on the debatable topics and take a more logistical standpoint on the subjects instead of just pure what I feel without researching. And I want to finish the peer evaluation for my group and myself on the last project and fairly evaluate everybody as well as myself. Thank you.